Everyone, it's Christian B. Burnaby, Vancouver-based real estate agent. Welcome to another edition of Rapid Fire Real Estate. And for today's video, we're going to talk about several topics. I'm going to start us off with duplexes, move us along to a question of whether you think the Mayor of Burnaby should be making more than the Prime Minister of Canada. Talk a little bit about the use of your taxpayer money at the a regional board called the Board of Metro Vancouver, and how they're blowing your money right out the window here, and on salaries, on meeting fees, and so on. And also on the wastewater treatment plant that is way behind schedule and way over budget. And the residents of North Vancouver are going to pay $17,000 per household. That's right, per household for the next 30 years. And we're going to touch a little bit on that as well. I wanted to start with a quick comment, though, on half-duplexes, because I had someone ask me about it in my most recent video. And I remember, half-duplexes are still the new kid on the block. You know, you got your big three, right? The detached, townhouses, condos. And half-duplexes are a new product. I mean, there's only 491 of them on the market in Greater Vancouver. And of those, 3/4 of them are new, less than 5 years old. So it's, you know, this is a home. It feels very much like a house without being a house, right? You got that one shared wall. And so if you want something new because you're worried about having to pay to put a new roof on an old house, and you don't care about a big yard, you're okay with the single car garage, and you want the benefits of living in a leafy, tree-lined street in a nice area like in East Van, North Burnaby, then a half-duplex is an excellent option. Plus, it's new. And nowadays, it comes with the legal rental suite, which you can rent out, maybe get another $2,500, and that'll help shoulder a big chunk of your mortgage. So lots of benefits to have duplexes for sure. And again, the drawbacks would be you've got that shared wall. And, if you are going to replace the roof 20, 25 years from now, you got to go knock on your neighbor's door and hammer something out. And so hopefully they're agreeable. By the way, that's something you should always do if you're a half duplex buyer. Knock on the neighbor's door. I do this myself with and I take my clients with me and I say, let's go meet the neighbors. And, but yeah, there are lots of benefits to them. I would say that an older detached house like a Vancouver special from the 1980s is on par price point with a new half duplex. So you're looking in and around the $2 million mark, probably a little bit above it, 2.1, 2.2 ish. If you're the kind of person you like to do a little, remodel the kitchen, you want a big yard for family, then of course a Vancouver special is going to be a lot better, plus the 2-car garage, but they're going to be older. So half duplexes are great, probably about the same price point as a Vancouver special. Now, what I want to do is, and if you're buying a new house, you'd probably be looking at over $3 million in both of those neighborhoods, so it's up there. Guys, what I want to do for this video is talk a little bit about what I've been reading and learning about with regards to how your taxpayer and my money is being spent by the municipalities and by different boards here in Greater Vancouver. And this is, I hope you're sitting down for this too. So the first here, I wanted to ask you, would you believe it if I told you the Mayor of Burnaby makes more than the Prime Minister of Canada? Yes, and if I asked you how much, it's $400,000. He's raking in every year. Okay, so you must be thinking, how the heck does the mayor of a smaller city make $400,000 a year? Well, let me break it down for you. Mayor's salary, $195,000. Chair of Metro Vancouver, $109,000. Chair of TransLink Board of Directors, $42,000, and another $32,000 for the chair of the TransLink Council, which is different than, I guess, the board of directors. Plus, they get paid to attend meetings, $547 to go to each meeting, which I'm not too bothered by, I guess, but that goes up to $1,000 if the meeting goes over 4 hours. So I'm thinking, once the meeting is at about 3.5 hours, do these guys just say, wow, we might as well just go the other 20, 25 minutes and just, hit the $1,000 mark? It's insane how much these guys are blowing out the door in terms of your taxpayer money. Now, that's just the salaries. The big one here is there's two other aspects to this I want to tackle here. And the first is what I want to just call it's the North Shore Water Treatment Plant, right? Remember this? This was introduced in 2017 at a price of about, $750 million. It was supposed to be done by 2020. I'm not joking. That's what the online articles say. And here we are in 2025, and we still got several years to go on this thing. By the way, it is way over budget. It's estimated to come in not at 700 and something million, but at $4 billion. $4 billion. This is like your contractor coming over, giving you a budget of about $250,000. And when he's halfway done, he says, oh, by the way, it's going to cost $1.3 million. Could you imagine your contractor pulling one like that on you? Well, that's been pulled on the board of Metro Vancouver. And obviously, a lot of these folks, either they have no business background, or they don't understand engineering, or there's simply not enough people here who understand how something like this works. How could a project like this go so massively over budget and cost, six times more than they budgeted? That's insane, absolutely insane. And by the way, it's going to cost the residents of North Vancouver $17,000 per household, because you have to pay $590 for the next 30 years on this thing. That's if it doesn't go up. So just unbelievable. And in one article I was reading, they finished it off with saying, and Metro Vancouver is working on restoring faith and trust, because they still have more projects that are billion-dollar projects. Billion-dollar projects. I think I wouldn't want these guys doing my grocery shopping at this point. I come home with $1,000 bill. Now, let's just talk a little bit more about this out-of-control spending, because it's just unreal. So these guys one of the things they do is they try to promote Vancouver to the world, right? Get businesses to invest here, bring jobs to Vancouver. And so they took 17 taxpayer-paid trips to places like Paris, Vienna, London, Brisbane, Barcelona, and Frankfurt. Wow, these guys, they're living the life here, traveling around the world. And in that time, it's kind of funny. At the same time they're jet setting around the world, they'll ask you to turn off your water in the summer because they don't want to waste the water because you're watering your lawn. And these guys think of the carbon emissions of these guys flying around the globe several times. The amount of jobs that this has created is 135. They've spent $5 million on that. Which, now let's break down the math. $5 million divided by 135 jobs. It costs $37,000 to create one job. One job. You can just create a LinkedIn profile or post, and that can do it. I don't even think it costs you anything at all. Maybe you get a LinkedIn account for $20 or something. You do not need to be spending $37,000 to create one job. So hopefully these guys stop creating jobs at this rate. Otherwise, we'll go broke. Some other things here. They were spending $1,000 a night on hotels, spending $1,100 for networking events, $5,500 for 5-night stay at some of these locations. It's just, and $1,200 for French tutoring. Now, I don't know about you, but we don't need French here in Quebec. Here in Vancouver. Whoa, everybody in Quebec's getting upset already. No. Yes, Quebec. Here in Vancouver, we do not speak French on the streets. So, it's just unbelievable to see where this money is going. Now, and when it comes to this type of excessive spending, I imagine this is happening because these people are not accountable, right? They are voted in as the mayor of Richmond, Burnaby, Delta, or whatever municipality they're coming from, and then they get on these different boards. And if they go over budget, well, who cares? I mean, right? I mean, if you're sitting in Richmond or Vancouver, you can't vote for the mayor of Burnaby. You don't have a say in it. So they're kind of insulated. They need to be accountable to somebody. You have to be able to fire these people, just like you would with your MLAs if you weren't happy with the performance of the government or your MPs and so on. Certainly in private companies, you're responsible to your customer or your shareholders. So it's something that's just incredible. I can't believe that they spend this much money. And as taxpayers, as residents of the Metro Vancouver, Greater Vancouver area, you really have to get informed on these kind of things, because what'll happen is if you don't, this stuff is just going to continue. Now, there's a review being carried out right now of the salaries of a lot of these board chairs. But I don't recall now if that's an independent review or not. If it's not an independent review, what do you think they're going to find? Right? I mean, how many people investigate themselves and say, yeah, I earn too much. I'll lower my CEO's salary. I don't think that's happening. That runs counter to human nature. And I think the other question here you got to ask is, like, you know, if you're the mayor of Burnaby or Richmond and you're sitting on 4 councils and you know, can you do your job for which you were elected effectively? I mean, how about just focusing on one thing at a time here? I don't know. It does give the perception that they're sort of milking milking it, right? They're doing these different positions here because they can get paid quite a bit of money. So disappointing. Sorry, guys. I would like to leave on a happier note than that, but I do think it's important that you are well aware of that, and you know, follow these articles in the newspaper, and bring this up during the next election. It's important that, because if you don't hold your elected officials accountable, this stuff is just going to continue. Okay. And the province of BC has the ability to step in, because a lot of these boards, I think, operate, and municipalities operate under provincial legislation. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave your opinions below.